Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about a storm system that is going to be occurring this upcoming weekend. There's a few days of, if you will, a break from the rain. I will have, sorry about this chair is squeaky that I have, so maybe hearing some noises. I got a new chair. I won't say used chair. I just moved it from downstairs, and it's a bit squeaky. So that's, I guess, bad. But there's going to be a rainstorm that's going to be occurring. A rain system. It's obviously going to be rain. Severe weather. Flooding a concern. And several other factors are things that could affect your travel or daily life. So if you guys like the weather, anything to do with the weather, I do all sorts of things. I do long range outlooks. Soon I'll be getting into the winter videos, you know, or like the winter forecast, and a lot of other good stuff that I usually do each year. So, you know, start coming back to the channel as more regularly. As I know a lot of people get away for summer, but now it's starting to get more active, and we're gonna be uploading more and more videos. So if you'd like, consider subscribing. If you're new, if you're old fan, I love you, and consider liking the video. So let's look at the GFS, Global Forecasting Model. It's a very good model. I like it. Notice there's a pretty strong system to the north across southern Canada, really pretty far north in Canada. And this basically, you know, it's a big system, and that's the one that came across a couple days ago across the Midwest. It dropped quite a bit of severe weather and rain. That's moving out. It drove in a little bit of cool air for a couple of days, but notice that, you know, starting to really tomorrow, we start seeing a thunderstorm breaking out across Minnesota, into South Dakota, North Dakota, and into Colorado and Wyoming. This kind of is really brought to you by this, you know, this low pressure that is across this time. At this time, it's Manitoba moving into Quebec, and this really doesn't look weak or look strong, but notice this is 2 o'clock, this is 7 o'clock. So with daytime heating, these storms really fire up, and it becomes pretty noticeable across Wisconsin, Minnesota, Minneapolis, a city, Green Bay, another city, Des Moines, Iowa, you know, another city, obviously. So notice that you can see that we see a line of severe thunderstorms, almost like a cold front fashion, dragging across the U.S. With this system right there. This would probably produce some severe weather along this line. Also notice it stretches out into portions of Michigan and across, you know, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. So that's definitely something that you want to, I guess, note. You know, if you have plans for this upcoming Friday. So in 2 days, you know, this is gonna be late Friday night. So you know, this is gonna be more of an overnight thing. So hopefully less activities. But it's a Friday, so many people will be out and about despite what's going on. You know, things are starting to reopen. So if you know, this will definitely pose still as some sort of a threat. And you can see this moves on into the northeast and still delivers quite a bit of rain and showers, some severe weather possibly with this. And as soon as things may look to calm down, we see another front develop from a large system that is just absolutely blossoming bands of rain across the southern Canada and into Illinois and Iowa. And that kind of recontinues the activity. But as of now, we have this system to deal with, and this is what we will be talking about. So let's take a further look at the precipitation amounts. Now again, this is the GFS, so it really doesn't do a good job in terms of precipitation for severe thunderstorms or thunderstorms. It just does a more broad area of, you know, this area has a little bit more precip, so generally across this area there will be an increase of thunderstorms or rain. And obviously that's noticeable. And it's not wrong. So notice across the south we see some blue, which is indicative of half an inch or more. Now we see also some pockets of 2 inches across the Wisconsin, even to Kansas and Indiana and Michigan. That's indicative of 2+ inches. That may be a little bit more common than what the GFS is showing. Again, since in an isolated thunderstorm that's severe, you'll probably see, you know, an inch in 30 or 40 minutes. So really, seeing an inch or 2 inches overall isn't all too rare, especially from events that are absolutely just super juiced up on moisture, like, you know, June 28th, 2020. It's about the warmest time of the year. Not quite the peak yet, but it's definitely getting there. Okay, now let's talk about the temperatures quickly. This will play a pretty big role in a severe weather, as usually the warmer it is, the more the severe weather has to develop. Now, when cold and warm starts clashing, that's when things get really dangerous. And we could start looking at, some signs of tornadic activity, some spinning, and notice that this is cold air getting pushed out by some warm air. So while this is called a cold front of that storm, you can see it kind of comes in with warmer air, and it's going to be in the 80s. This doesn't look like a heat wave or really a cool off, but if you were to look at the temperatures, I mean, it's the warmest time of the year. It's going to be 80s and 70s and 90s widespread, so you can see it's definitely warm. It's definitely hot in some areas, and the average is hot in some areas across this time frame. Sorry about that. I keep yawning and I can't stop that for some reason. But notice that as soon as that, so we have this precipitation that comes in, and I want to show you, go back to the temperature anomaly. This is the 2-meter temperature shade. Let's go to the temperature anomaly. You notice that the warm air really kind of, dominates and really, protrudes across these locations. Notice that there's a blob of cooler air across the west. Here it's warm, but this is going to really stay there. This is what's also very interesting. What's going on up here? This could be some really absurd warm temperatures over here. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous amounts of heat. I mean, it could be almost in the hundreds over there, which is just plain, literally absurd. I mean, Chicago has seen its last 100, as far as I'm right. It has seen its last 100 2012. These areas, they're 1,000 to 2,000 miles to the north. They don't see hundreds almost ever, and they're going to be seeing a string of 3 or 4 days in the hundreds. I mean, it's just concerning, to say the very least. And you can see that it does the cooler air, the heat wave doesn't really occur across the U.S. It maintains itself across southern Canada, but really just not good news for those folks, and really the animals, because there's not much people that live there. Populations are limited, and it's bearable. 100 degrees, I guess it's hot, but it's just not there for a long time. It's gonna go away after a few days, but I mean, you can see that the temperatures are just ridiculous. 80s, 90s widespread, and it's supposed to be cold when they show at 70s being above average, and when they start seeing in the temperatures, look at that, like 90s way up here, by close to the Arctic at that point. That's just not good in any aspect at all. So notice that the heat stays across the United States for sure, so that's definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on. Notice 118, 113, just an absolute blistering heat across the Southwest, so definitely not good either. Let's take a look at take a gander at the HRRR model. The HRRR model goes out to 36 hours every 6 hours, if that makes sense. And I just went back to its latest 36-hour trend. Notice that we could see some scattered showers across the Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana area. Also some scattered showers across the Mississippi, Alabama area. Notice that we see quite a bit of precipitation. You just see these little bands, and that's been occurring throughout the day. This is mainly due to daytime heating. As you can see, as the night wears on, there still will be thunderstorms, especially across Georgia, but it's going to mainly be more of a rain event. A few thunderstorms, but I feel like the more severe side of things was during the day, and what's occurring right now as I'm recording this video at around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Central Time Zone. So notice that for tomorrow, you notice that we see this again, this low pressure at this point moving through Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan, and you can see there's just dragging like these little clusters. And now let me tell you, the HRRR model likes to underrepresent what this actually looks at on radar. These are powerful storms that drop lots of rain, have heavy wind, large hail, so this is definitely something not to be underestimated. And if you were to look at the rainfall amounts that these leave behind, wherever you get hit, you're in for a pretty nice doozy. You're in for, 1 to 2 inches. You could see those purple amounts getting highlighted pretty frequently. I just want to show you this in north central United States. You can see wherever it hits, there's some purple amounts, and those are some pretty significant rainfall amounts. 2 inches in a matter of an hour is a cause for concern for sure. And if you get 2 or more of the storms, like see right here, and if you're to see, across this county, I don't know what this county is. I don't know all my counties, know all my states, not all my county. It would be ridiculous if I knew all my counties. But notice there's a thunderstorm, and if say tomorrow they get unlucky and they get hit by another storm from right there, just keep that cursor right there, and you get hit from another wave right there, and they could see plenty of rain that is enough to cause for flash flooding. And that's gonna kind of expand really Friday night. It's gonna really blow up across the Midwest. And That is definitely cause for concern. You know, I mean, it's not like we've never seen anything like this. It's not really highly linked on the Storm Prediction Center. I think it's maybe a slight risk, you know, maximum. We could see possibly late Friday we have literally a squall line or a front that develops. This is more concerning when they get more developed like this. The NAM model is showing that. Will this actually happen? Tough to see, tough to say at this point, and tough to see as well. So let's go to the Storm Prediction Center and check out what they have for the severe weather rankings across those days. And you can see slight risk is for today and tonight. I'm assuming that's mainly across the south, as that's where most of the activity will be going on. Yes, you can see across the southern parts of Kansas. You notice that if you were to look at tomorrow, Thursday, you notice that it's across the Dakotas into Minnesota. And let me tell you, just because you're not in a yellow doesn't mean you can't get a strong, powerful storm. If you get a severe storm, you know when you'll get a severe storm. It's a powerful storm, so you know, beyond powerful. So when you have something like slight, that's a little bit, you know, giving you an alarm that you should be careful. And if it's something like enhanced, then that's a little bit concerning. This is for I think Saturday, so this is definitely still gonna get updated. No, this is for Friday or Saturday. I think late Friday. So this will possibly get upgraded into an enhanced across these areas, so we'll definitely have to watch that. Big population centers here, you know, the Quad Cities, Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago, so Kansas City even getting in on this, Green Bay, so large cities into this part of the country right here. So stay tuned, guys. I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.